Yeah, she's like Fred Hensler used to be.
Yes.
How is Fred? He's doing really good. After the election, he's like living in a whole new world. Jeez, he was like depressed for like 2 years.
Well, there's a whole lot of depressed people in this area.
Right.
There's a lot of depressed people. Okay, Steve?
I voted for Stein, but I didn't think she's going to win, so.
Huh?
So I voted for Stein, but I didn't think she was going to win, so I'm not exactly disappointed.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
I'm doing the libertarian candidate.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Tom, I'm going to start in about 30 seconds, so I'll let you know that. Yep, I'll give you a heads up.
You know, usually 10 minutes, 30 seconds after you start, that on our way, he's gonna walk in.
Yeah. He's probably standing up there. He's probably standing up there. He's going, I was going to wait. No, we could do is just start docking late. And then I'll tell you what, they'd be all on time. Especially now.
Probably good to tell you.
Yeah, here, Jack would. No, nothing. No, I was going, I'm going to make it, I was going to say, if you're tardy, we're not going to pay you anymore as a trustee. And I goes, Jack would probably make sure that that's not legal.
In you walk.
What's up, sir? Pass him down. Better than you, apparently.
And he misbehaved in school on the ruler.
Did he?
Broke when they smacked his hand.
Get your chair on the last day.
He's still hanging on the nuns? Go ahead, Tom.
Recording in progress.
Ready? Well, now that royalty has arrived.
All
right.
That was cold.
It's now 6:30 p.m., 6:32 p.m. I'd like to call to order the Fenton Township Board meeting on this 19th day of November, 2024. I ask everyone to please stand for the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Gopal, will you please lead?
Yes, sir, thank you. Lord, as we gather here this evening, we ask you to look over us as we conduct this meeting. Help us to make sound decisions for the residents of the township. Help us to remember our duty and service to all the members of our community. Bless the sick, the injured, and the dead as we pray for an end to the conflicts that exist in the world today. We ask this in your most holy name. Amen.
Amen.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As always, Mark, appreciate that. Operations Manager Broker, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Lorraine.
Present.
Krug is absent. Tucker.
Present.
Gopal. Here. Kotrick.
Here.
Kessler.
Here.
Reed.
Here.
We have 6 board members present.
All right, thanks, Tom. I'd like to note for the record that Township Attorney Jack Belzer, our Operations Manager Tom Broker, our Zoning Administrator Mike Deem, Fire Chief Ryan Volz, and Assessor Julia Wilson are present this evening. Additionally, the following Township officials are present via Zoom: our Township Engineers, Ellen and Melissa Lawrence. Tom, you detail the procedures for those attending tonight's virtual meeting.
Yes, to the members of the public attending tonight's meeting in person or via Zoom, please be advised the meeting is being recorded to be shown on Public Access TV, Spectrum Channel 191. Recorded meetings are also posted on the Fenton Area Community Television YouTube channel. For those attending via Zoom, we ask that you keep your microphone muted until we reach portions of the meeting where public comment is allowed. For tonight's meeting, there is a public hearing on the 2025 budget, during which public comment will be taken. All other public comment will be taken near the end of the meeting. Meeting materials are available for download on the Township's website at fentontownship.org.
Thanks, Tom. All right, moving on to the first business order, which is the approval of the agenda. Are there any requests to amend tonight's agenda? Hearing that, a motion is in order to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Operations Manager Broker, will you call the roll?
Lorraine.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Kotrick.
Yes.
Krug is absent. Kessler.
Yes.
Gopal.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, agenda stands approved as presented. Moving on to the meeting minutes. Included in the packet are the meeting minutes from the October 29th regular meeting. Are there any corrections or requested revisions to the meeting minutes? Hearing none, the meeting minutes stand approved as presented. Moving on to the next business order, was the expenditures. Are there any questions from the board regarding any of the invoices? Quiet. All right. A motion is in order to approve the expenditures totaling $722,000, $275.44 for payment.
So moved.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Operations Manager Broker, will you please call the roll?
Krug is absent. Patrick?
Yes.
Kessler?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Gopel?
Yes.
Tucker?
Yes.
Lorraine?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, expenditure stand approved as presented. Moving on, the next business order is public hearings. This is Fenton Township's 2025 budget hearing. The proposed 2025 Fenton Township budget was distributed to the board prior to the October 29th meeting, and it has been available for review at the township since that time. Operations Manager Broker, will you please give a brief overview?
Yes, there's a memo with a fair amount of detail in the packet highlighting the differences between projected 24 and proposed 25 numbers. I won't go into the individual line items or departments because they're relatively routine. Bottom line is the general fund budget projects a total deficit of $292,200. However, $400,000 in budgeted expenditures are for the Thompson Road project, which will come from the restricted fund balance from the grant money we got from the state. Therefore, the net effect on the unrestricted fund balance is actually a plus $107,800 in the budget. Fire fund is also worth noting. Fairly large shortfall on the surface because we're expecting to receive delivery of the aerial ladder truck this year, so that money will, the $1 million will come out of the restricted fund balance. So again, the projected unrestricted fund balance at year end is $363,000. Street lighting, SAD, it was a pretty big increase. Consumers raised their lighting costs dramatically during 24, so we're making up for a little bit of a shortfall this year, and then obviously collecting enough to cover next year's. Solid waste, it's a projected small deficit. Again, it's a 4-year contract. We're in year 3. The first 2 years, because we straight lined the special assessment, we had surpluses in year 1 and 2. We'll have deficits in year 3, and it all comes out in the wash. Sewer fund, we do have about a $1.1 million decrease in sewer use fee revenue due to the rate reduction, which is offset by a $1.3 million decrease in debt service. So that works well. Again, we're projecting a positive cash flow for the year. The water fund is still kind of in its infancy, so it's kind of a best guess estimate at this time, and we will update the budget as needed throughout the year. And I'd be happy to answer any other questions the board might have.
All right, thanks, Tom. All right, the board will now accept public comment on the proposed budget. Is there anyone here that's present this evening who'd like to address the board on the budget? Hearing none, we'll move on to Zoom. Is there anyone attending via Zoom that would like to address the board regarding the 2025 budget? If so, just unmute or wave your hand. Hearing none, I will now close the public hearing. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
The only comment I have, Tom, is that memo was very helpful. It saved me digging through everything. I mean, I went through it, but I had already been primed for what the significant things were. So thank you for the memo. That made it much easier to digest all this. And I guess the other thing I'd say to you, Vince, is, you know, it's a tiny little bit in the overall budget. The rate of return on this room is coming. It wasn't smoke and mirrors. I mean, you can see we're already experiencing it. So the ROI is going to be pretty short for what we did down here. And I thought it was smart then. I still think it's smart today.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Do we know how, I guess is the 45,000 just for law enforcement, is that just a guess right now? Or
Yes, because the sheriff department has warned us that they have union negotiations coming.
Right.
And so they threw like a 5% number at us, so we just build it into the budget and adjust accordingly. If it gets delayed and it doesn't even happen in 25,
We can recapture it.
they may not need it, but we're trying to position as best we can.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Yeah,
or
we're
comments?
looking at you. Chief's giving him a hard time back there, I think.
He should. All right. Hearing none, resolution number 2024-54, a General Appropriations Act, resolution to formally adopt the 2025 Fenton Township budget. Operations Manager Broker, will you please present the resolution?
Yes, it's obviously a very lengthy resolution. I'll summarize as best I can here. It designates the supervisor as the chief administrative officer and the clerk as the fiscal officer, sets forth the estimated revenues and expenditures for each fund, adopts the budget by reference, and for the general fire and sewer funds, adopts the budget at the department or activity level. Gives the chief administrative officer specific transfer authority, requires periodic fiscal reports to the board, and requires proper budget monitoring.
All right, thanks, Tom. Okay, a motion is in order to adopt resolution number 2024-54 as presented.
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing-
After 15 years, I have a question, Tom, of being the treasurer. Why on earth is the clerk the chief fiscal officer for the budget instead of the treasurer? I mean, I don't care, but you think I'd know this after 15 years. Do you know why? Is it statutory mandated, just the way we've done it?
It's the normal way. You're the keeper of the money,
Yeah,
but not necessarily the budget.
okay. I just
Checks and balances.
I'm fine with it. I just, don't know why it took me 15 years.
It's because of the record keeping. That's why, the clerk being the record keeper.
Yeah,
That's why.
okay.
There you go.
I was sure there was a logical explanation for it, but
Didn't know what it
sitting with
was.
as the treasurer hat on, it didn't seem right.
Any further discussion? All right, Operations Manager Broker, will you call the roll?
Reed,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Krug is absent, Cochran.
Yes.
Motion carries, resolution is adopted.
All right, moving on to the next business orders reports. Are there any committee reports to be made to the board this evening? Hearing none, we'll move on to communications. None this evening. Next order of business is adoption of ordinances. This is the proposed revised vehicle code ordinance, introduction and the first reading. Jack, will you give
Yeah,
us an
so
update?
periodically, like every 2 years at the most, I always present the revised, the updated vehicle code. Because when you adopt it, it's frozen in time, so if we don't adopt it, any changes made in the state law aren't under our ordinances. So every couple years, I present it to re-adopt those state law codes.
Can you not adopt it as amended from time to time? Does it
No,
not have
that
to do
doesn't work.
Doesn't work?
No, no. That's what some individuals believe and do, but
Yeah.
that's wrong. You can't adopt something that doesn't exist.
Yeah. Because you don't know what it is yet. I
Right,
get that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So have there been any material changes from the last time we
Well,
adopted?
yeah, some language changes, and then plus in this one, I put in something about, so we have a better grasp on the watercraft regulations, and we have had our first drunk driving on the lake. And they were like, I think .248.
Whoa,
And they did, yeah,
whoa.
but, yeah, so I put that in here, so, and then it makes it easier for the officers, yeah.
Okay.
So .24 is still illegal?
Yeah,
That's
It's
grave
only
written,
3
if you ask
times,
me.
a little more
I wouldn't want
than
to
3
fall
times.
overboard at half of that.
Anything else? All right, the board will now accept public comment on the revised vehicle code ordinance. Is there anyone here present that would like to address the board on the new vehicle code ordinance? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to Zoom. Is there anybody attending via Zoom that would like to address the board? All right, hearing none, I will now close the public comment. Are there any other questions or comments from the board? All right, the second reading and vote on the adoption of the proposed ordinance will be conducted at our December 2nd meeting.
December 3rd, I'm sorry. I got the wrong date there.
December 3rd, yeah, well, I should have known that anyway. Next order of business is unfinished business. We have none this evening. And then moving on to new business. This is the 2025 Fenton Township meeting schedule. The proposed 2025 meeting schedule was included in the communications agenda item and discussed at the October 29th meeting. Board action is required to formally adopt the meeting schedule. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Any changes? Anybody's looked at it?
Just one asterisk this year.
No questions? Nothing? All right. Okay, a motion is ordered to adopt the 2025 Fenton Township meeting schedule as presented.
so moved.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Operations Manager Broker, will you please call the roll?
Patrick,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Krug is absent, Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, next under new business, the proposed employment agreements for the assessor, fire chief, operations manager, and zoning administrator. As part of my annual responsibilities as supervisor, I have conducted comprehensive performance reviews for our key department heads. Assessor Julia Wilson, Fire Chief Ryan Volz, Operations Manager Tom Broker, and Zoning Administrator Mike Dean. It is with immense pride that I report to this board and to the residents of Fenton Township that we are fortunate to have a team of professionals who exemplify excellence in public service. Each of these individuals bring a wealth of experience, advanced education, and an unwavering commitment to their roles. They consistently conduct themselves with the utmost professionalism, reflecting not only their personal dedication but also the core values of this township. These department heads work tirelessly to serve our residents, ensuring that Fenton Township continues to be a community we are all proud to call our home. Their efforts directly contribute to the effective functioning of our local government, and their leadership inspires the staff members they oversee. In sum, Fenton Township is extraordinarily fortunate to benefit from such a capable and hardworking team. Please join me in extending our gratitude for their exceptional service and commitment to the welfare of our community. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Okay. A motion is in order to approve the employment agreement for Assessor Julia Wilson as presented with salary provisions of the agreement to be effective 4/19/2024.
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
So I'm sorry, I should have asked a question. Are these, I'm asking now, the annual salaries that are included in these agreements, are they the same as the prior year or have they been adjusted? And if they've been adjusted, can you give us some insight as to how much?
Absolutely. Actually, Tom has, though I don't have it right in front of me. What happens is that the Personnel Committee, which is made up of myself and John and Krug, Bob, we meet, we go over there. What I do is I meet with each individual personally as a supervisor. I go through, then I meet with the Personnel Committee. I make recommendations, and then we, as the Personnel Committee, agree on those recommendations, and then I set them forth. And that's what I've done here. Tom, didn't you put those in there?
The old numbers are not in there. It's
Oh,
just-
okay.
It's just, they're just clean versions of the agreements. with
Oh,
the
okay.
numbers that are-
Do you know the exact percentages, Tom?
Percentages, I know the assessor is going from 77 to 83. Fire chief from 70 to 80. My position going from 105 to 109. Zoning administrator 82 to 87.
And in Vince's defense this time, sometimes he will come in with numbers in mind. This year, he had comments, but not numbers. He had numbers in his head, but he didn't, share them with Bob or myself, so we kind of talked to it. And just coincidentally, the numbers that the group came up with, I think were pretty much universally in track with the number he had stashed up in his head, so.
Yes.
Thank you, that's helpful.
Oh, no problem.
And-
Sorry, Bob, I thought those numbers were in there.
And was that the only change? Was there weren't any like duties changes, or were they?
No, because again, they're all department heads, so, and not to reiterate the point, but I work with them every day. As people that sit on this board, you only get to interact with them, if you come into the office. When I took this position 4 years ago, you kind of, even though I've known everybody here for 15 years, it was really getting to know them over the last 4 years. And I say this with sincerity, this township is extremely fortunate to have the people that we have here. I mean, we have a team that's unbelievable, from everybody that works here, from the front desk all the way to our executives. They are the best of the best, and this township is in great hands. And I can't express to you enough how important they are and how well deserved these raises. Any other questions or comments? I will read this motion again. Okay, a motion in order to approve the employment agreement for Assessor Julie Wilson as presented with salary positions of the agreement to be effective for 19/2024.
We had a motion.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Operations Manager Broker, will you call the roll? That's right, Christine interrupted.
Sorry.
Silly questions.
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Krug is absent, Reed,
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, next a motion is in order to approve the employment agreement for Fire Chief Ryan Volz as presented with salary provisions of the agreement to be effective 4/19/2024.
I move the motion.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Operations Manager Broker, will you call the roll?
Kessler,
Yes.
Krug is absent, Reed,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Okay, a motion is in order to approve the employment agreement for Operations Manager Thomas Broker as presented with salary provisions of the agreement to be effective 4/19/2024.
I'll move the motion.
Support.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Operations Manager Broker, will you please call the roll?
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Krug is absent, motion carries.
Thanks, Tom. Okay, a motion is in order to approve the employment agreement for Zoning Administrator Michael Deem as presented with salary provisions of the agreement to be effective 4/19/2024.
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Operations Manager Broker, will you please call the roll?
Lorraine,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Krug is absent, Reed.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, again, I want to thank the board for supporting the Personnel Committee's recommendations. Next on our new business is Resolution Number 2024-55, Temporary Water Fund Loan. Operations Manager Broker, will review.
Yes. So, I outlined this in the memo, but if you remember, back when we started the water process, the board authorized the issuance of up to $5 million in capital improvement bonds for water system construction. Now that all the ARPA funds have been expended, the township has to pay a $2 million invoice to the county, or we've had invoices over $2 million over the last couple of months. With other projects in the works, it's my recommendation that we combine the Phase 1 costs with the Phase 4 potential that we're working on now, the Ripley Road, Silver Lake, and do a single bond issue later in 2025. In the meantime, a temporary loan from the general fund to the water fund to cover the immediate expenditures, I think is a more prudent way to go. So when the bonds are sold in 2025, the loan will be repaid to the general fund, including 3% interest. I did reach out to the township auditors to get some guidance, and they agreed with this approach, and then they recommended that a resolution to formally approve the temporary loan would be the best way to do it. So that's the resolution you have before you this evening.
Thanks, Tom. Any questions or comments from the board?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
Would the 3% that we're paying back interest on the loan be in line with what the money would make if it stayed in the general fund?
Yes, that's what we make on our daily sweeps.
All I need to know.
Yep.
Thank you.
And we're putting it in our right pocket and paying our left pocket. So-
I understand. I just want to make sure the
Yeah.
3% taking it out of the fund is
Yes.
going to pay back what it would have been.
Yes.
if it would
No.
stay. That's all.
No opportunity
That's-
cost
That's a
there.
good question.
Yep, real good question. Any other comments or questions from the board? Hearing none. Resolution number 2024-55, Operations Manager Broker, will you please present the resolution?
Yes, resolution 2024-55 authorizes a temporary loan of $2.1 million from the general fund to the water fund, establishes a deadline of December 31st, 2025 to repay the loan, and establishes an annual interest rate of 3% for the temporary loan.
Okay, motion is in order to adopt resolution number 2024-55 as presented.
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Operations Manager Broker, will you please call the roll?
Kessler,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Krug is absent, Reed,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Motion carries, resolution's adopted.
All right, thanks, Tom. Next under new business is resolution number 2024-56. This is honoring our trustee, Cade Catrick. This is the final board meeting for Township trustee Cade Catrick. Got something I wrote for you. This evening, we take a moment to honor and express our deepest gratitude to trustee Cade Catrick for his exemplary service to the Fenton Township board over the last 4 years. Cade's tenure as a trustee has been marked by an unwavering commitment to excellence, a diligent approach to governance, and an unrelenting dedication to the residents of our community. Cade has consistently demonstrated the qualities that define an outstanding public servant. He approaches each meeting with a thorough preparation and a clear understanding of the issues at hand, always ensuring he is equipped to make informed and thoughtful contributions. His ability to delve deeply into complex matters, offer innovative suggestions, and engage in constructive dialogue has elevated the work of this board. Cade's insight, professionalism, and collaborative spirit have left an indelible mark on our township. His departure will be keenly felt by all those who have the privilege to have worked alongside him. On behalf of this board and the residents of Fenton Township, I extend our heartfelt thanks to Cade for his dedication and service. While we will miss his voice at the table, we are confident that his talents will continue to shine in future endeavors. It is our sincere hope that one day Cade will return to public service and once again lend his exceptional abilities to the betterment of our community. We wish Cade the very best in the next chapter of his life, and we want to thank him for his remarkable contributions to Fenton Township.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been very pleased to work with the board. I found everyone to be very diligent and hardworking. I do hope that some of the things I worried about will keep being worried about. One of those was free speech with both the littering ordinance and the social media moderation policy. I'm hoping, those votes didn't go the way that I wanted them to, but because of that, the board has sort of the obligation to oversee those things and make sure there's not violations of freedom of speech. I'll continue to worry about a little of the we brought water into the township, and I'm grateful that we did. I think there's been even more need for and appreciation of it than I expected. But I hope we keep our promises to never force anyone onto the water and to make sure that the people who pay are the people who are benefiting. And then right from the moment that I got here, Melissa and Alan Lawrence showed sort of the magnitude of the sewer system here, and I didn't expect to be as worried about that as I have been, but I'm sure that the board will continue to constantly be keeping that in mind because it's one of our bigger obligations. But in general, I've been very impressed with the board overall.
Okay, when I wrote that, I meant every word, and I'm sure I speak for everybody that's on this board.
It was written by somebody that knows Cade. No AI bot on the planet could generate that. That was somebody
That's
that
from my heart.
that knew you, and I agree with you.
Thank you.
Your little ghost is going to be here when, not your literal ghost, but
was gonna say.
your figurative ghost will be here when we talk about some of those issues. I think the bell will go off and we will remember what you said.
Thank you.
All right, I've written a resolution to honor Cade for his service in community. Resolution number 2024-56. Operations Manager Broker, will you please present the resolution?
Yes. Whereas Cade C. Kotrick will conclude his term of office as Fenton Township trustee on November 20th, 2024, after 4 years of devoted service to the community, and whereas throughout his tenure, Mr. Kotrick embraced the responsibilities and fiduciary duties of a trustee, faithfully working to uphold the public trust and safeguard the interests of Fenton Township citizens. And whereas Mr. Kotrick consistently approached his role with exceptional dedication and integrity, ensuring he was thoroughly informed and thoughtful in his decision-making, always striving to enhance the well-being of the community he served. And whereas in addition to his duties as trustee, Mr. Kotrick represented Fenton Township on the Genesee County Metropolitan Alliance, where he demonstrated vision, objectivity, and a strong commitment to the township's future. And whereas Mr. Kotrick's contributions have left an enduring impact on the township, reflecting his loyalty, professionalism, and unwavering dedication to public service. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Township Board of the Charter Township of Fenton hereby recognizes Cade C. Kotrick for his invaluable contributions, extends heartfelt appreciation for his dedicated service, and wishes him continued success and fulfillment in all future endeavors. And be it further resolved that this resolution be recorded in the official minutes of this meeting with a formal copy presented to Mr. Kotrick as a symbol of our gratitude.
Thanks, Tom. Are there any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, a motion is in order to adopt resolution number 2024-56 as presented.
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution passes.
Thank you, Cade.
It's really great having you here. Thanks. All right.
Yeah, very nice.
Say
All right.
suitable for framing, but already framed.
Next business order is board comment. Is there anyone on the board who has any additional comments or concerns?
I believe you did this meeting in half an hour.
Yeah. I just wanted to let the board know that Tom will be swearing us all in tonight for our new terms, after tonight's meeting, and that will be including our new board member, Bill Clark. All right, moving on to the next business in order, which is public comment on agenda or non-agenda items. Is there anybody present tonight that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? Hearing none, I will now reach out to those attending via Zoom. Is there anyone via Zoom that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? All right, hearing none, I'll close, we'll now, let me see, wait a minute. I thought there was something else I had. I think there was. All right, it is now 7:01 p.m. If there's nothing else, I say good night and the meeting's adjourned. I swear I had something else.